Hey, my friends. Welcome back to Soul Podcasting. I'm Demetria, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. This is the space where we talk about podcasting with intention, clarity, and soul. Not just how to start a podcast, but how to sustain one in a way that honors your life, your values, and your voice. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm a podcast coach and strategist, and I help purpose-driven creators clarify their message, shape their ideas, and build podcasts that actually feel good to create. Podcasts that grow from alignment and not from pressure. You can learn more about the work that I do and the resources that I share over at soulpodcasting.com. And I'm really glad that you found your way here. So before we get into today's conversation, I just want to say this. I hope you had a beautiful holiday season. I'm recording this in January, the first week, 2026. However it showed up for you, I hope that it was a good one and that you had a lot of moments of rest and reflection and joy. And I want to officially say it, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. So tell me, my friend, how are you doing? How was your new year? Did you have a big celebration or just a quiet evening at home or something in between? Well, I tend to get tired really easy, so I stayed in and I loved it. I loved my introverted evening and it was refreshing for me. It's something that I needed. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I would love to invite you to take a moment to leave a comment in the section below this video because I would absolutely love to hear from you. And you can just say hi, this is what it's all about. It's about community, building that connection with each other. And I really want to create community this year. And if you're listening from my website, I know some of you are, and it made me really happy to see that a few of you are finding your way over to the blog to listen. So if you are, just go ahead and leave a comment there. One of the benefits of leaving a comment on the blog post is that, and each of my episodes, it does have a blog post that goes along with it, is that you can share your name and even your website address, your URL. So sharing your URL is a little extra way for Google to notice your brand, and it's free link exposure from my platform. So I like to think of it as a win-win. You connect, you share, and then you get a little boost for your own work while we build this community together. So that's one way you can do it. My blog at soulpodcasting.com or on YouTube. So I've got a couple of things I want to share with you about what's been going on in my life and things that have changed, transitions that I've made, and maybe I'll be able to encourage you to get through your transitions and launch the new things that you're wanting to launch in 2026. So grab a cup of tea, your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into 2026 together. As we step into this new year, I've been thinking a lot about what I'm carrying forward with me and what I'm choosing not to carry with me, what I want to release. And I want to be honest about this with you because I think it's a lesson that can apply to creative work, to your podcasting, and just to your life in general. At the end of 2025, I officially closed the chapter on Her Business Elevated podcast. This is a podcast that I hosted for 5 years, and I'm just going to clarify this part of the story because it matters. I didn't end it abruptly. I prepared my audience. I gave them at least 3 episodes of heads up, letting them know that things were slowing down and that my energy was shifting, that the season was changing. So by the time it came to a close, it felt complete to me. I didn't feel any grief or guilt, no sense of failure, nothing like that. I was ready. I honestly was ready for this transition for a while. And I saw the cards on the table. I saw the stars aligned. I saw it all just happening because of things slowing down on that particular podcast. And I felt like it was time for me to also slow down with my energy there. So for me, that show had served its purpose in my life, and I had served it well in return. I can look back and say, yes, that season mattered. Those 5 years that I invested in Her Business Elevated mattered, and it was fulfilling work. And that's enough for me. Around the same time, a few weeks ago, I also made the decision to pause my homeschool podcast, a show that I ran for 14 years, y'all. 14 years. And it was one of those shows where I did things really slowly around my schedule as a homeschool mom for all those years. So I only had about 200 episodes for 14 years, which is not a lot because I wasn't podcasting every day, but it was a lot of my heart and my soul. I say that it's a lifetime of content. It was a whole chapter, several chapters of my life archived over there. So I shared a final episode, and I kind of made it a semi-final episode, gave myself an out and said that, hey, if you stick around, there might be a bonus episode here or there, maybe an interview with a friend might happen in the future. But for the most part, I brought things to a pause, and I let my listeners know what was happening because that community has meant so much to me, and I wanted to honor them. But the truth is, I haven't been a homeschool mom in years, and I've been on the outside of that space for a really long while now. And while there's value in that, as a veteran homeschool mama, there also comes a moment when you realize you're no longer meant to lead from the center of something. Sometimes you're meant to bless it and step back and let it be what it already is. And so for a long time, I imagined keeping that podcast active, mainly for sponsorship opportunities and just kind of keeping it alive so it could continue to generate some type of visibility or income, or just even be there as a source of content from someone who has been there, done that, and is still really looking on and blessing the community in some way. But at some point, I had to ask myself a really honest question. Do I want to stay on the content treadmill, the constant posting and producing, showing up just for the sake of showing up, or maybe for the opportunity to work with sponsors? The answer is no. I wanted freedom. I wanted honesty. I wanted alignment. And I feel really good knowing that I gave that homeschool community everything I had while it felt right to do it. I showed up. I poured into those mamas. I shared faithfully for years. And now I'm content to let those nearly 200 episodes just marinate, to let them do what they're going to do. No pressure, no expectation, just room to breathe and grow and serve in their own way. And what surprised me the most in all of this was how I felt so free afterward. I've talked before, especially back in, I believe it was episode 29, about juggling multiple podcasts. And I meant it when I said I enjoyed that season. I thrived in it. I stretched myself in so many ways that were challenging and rewarding. And I don't regret that for a second. But seasons change, you guys. And stepping into 2026, I realized I no longer want to create content just to keep pace. I want to create from alignment and intention, sustainability, all the things I've been preaching about on this podcast. Less pressure, more soul, all of that. And right now, I'm choosing soul podcasting fully and wholeheartedly. And listen, I reserve the right as a creator to change my mind, pivot, or even start a brand new podcast one day. You know how we do. But right now, this is where my yes lives. This is where I'm at peace. You may have noticed also this theme showing up in other areas of my creative life too. I have 2 YouTube channels. One is my podcasting channel, the one I share with you guys quite often, where I talk about podcasting process and purpose. And that channel has gone through its own set of transitions over the years. It's gone from being a solopreneur channel where I talked about my life as a creative and solopreneur and content creator to now talking mainly about podcasting. The other YouTube channel I had was my homeschool channel, which I recently revamped. I made that decision in the past week, actually. That channel is now shifting toward more midlife, music teaching, the interests that I'm genuinely leaning into at this stage of my life. That shift, I don't think it's confusion. I'm hoping that it feels more like evolution, evolving. It's me allowing my creativity to move honestly with who I am right now, instead of just forcing it to stay frozen in who I used to be. So if you're listening to this and you're standing at your own creative crossroads, here's something I want to share with you. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be loud, and it doesn't have to be permanent. Sometimes the most aligned thing you can do is say, thank you, this mattered, and now it's time. So pay attention to what feels heavy, not because it's hard, but maybe because it's no longer yours to carry. And then notice what feels lighter once you give yourself permission to release it. And as I move into this year, I'm carrying a commitment to slower creation, like less content for content's sake and more intention behind what I share. So there'll be more content, but with more intention, more space to breathe, more room for creativity to unfold naturally. And if you're a podcaster, I want you to hear this really, really clearly. You do not need to outproduce anyone this year. You don't need to prove your worth by exhausting yourself. What you do need is honesty with yourself, with your audience, and with the process. People feel that always. And I'm really excited about what's coming next here on Soul Podcasting. The next episode is an interview that I really can't wait to share with you. I think I've even mentioned it a few times a few weeks ago because I can't wait to release it. And after that, I'll be back with more reflections and insights and advice to support you as you create this year. I want you to create not louder and not faster, but be true to yourself. And before I go, I want to invite you to connect with me beyond the podcast. So in 2026, I'm intentionally building up my YouTube presence, especially around podcasting. You'll be seeing more behind the scenes content, vlogs, practical tips, tutorials, and honest reflections on creative work. And if you enjoy seeing the process, not just the polished, finished product, I think you'll really enjoy what I'm going to start creating there. And remember, I do have those two channels, my podcasting channel, where we share these conversations quite often, and then my newly revamped midlife musician hobbyist type channel. And I will be sharing both of those links for you in the show notes because I'd love to have you join me over there. So again, thank you for listening and thank you for being here and for stepping into this new year with me. So here's to creating with soul in 2026. Happy podcasting.